We got power moves, personal conflicts, and a couple of storylines that might set up something bigger, or it just might be a vehicle to keep certain actors in the show. Well, let's start with Cory, because Cory does not give a damn, and that's why I like him.
He has risen.
Now, we all felt bad for him when his mom was ripping into him, but this man will use any and everything to get himself ahead, and Stella knows this. Stella knows that Cory is all about self-preservation, but she didn't think that he was a threat anymore, so she disregarded him. But see, here's the thing. Desperate people are always dangerous. They just need an opportunity, and Cory's always looking for one. Now, with Stella, her dynamic with Miles has some new layers to it. Now, in the premiere, I was sure that Cynthia, is her name Cynthia? Celine. I was sure that Celine knew about Stella and Miles. Now, with this episode, I still think she might, but I'm doubting it now. But still, that would be an interesting twist if this bomb that Cory is holding over Stella was a dud, but he was still able to make her twist into knots and do backflips over something that was already known. Now, for me, the highlight of this episode was Christina and Mia, partly because this gave us something we don't always see, and that's two Black characters interacting and even having conflict that's not centered around their Blackness. Like, that wasn't the focal point of this interaction or this conflict. Is more about two women having different approaches and different iterations of being women in high pressure jobs. The confrontation itself is one-sided. Mia is clearly in the wrong. Christina gave you advance notice about this recital. She didn't just spring it on you. So as a producer, it's your job to schedule around it if you already had prior knowledge. So the fact that it wasn't scheduled properly is Mia's fault, but Mia's also carrying the frustration of still vying for a promotion that she was promised 2 years ago. And then Christina is dealing with the guilt of what her job and the effect her job is having on her family life, specifically her daughter. And what I appreciated about this characterization is that the father isn't like a guilt-tripping figure. You know, he's an adult. He understands, but the tension is still there. You can feel Christina being pulled to make an impossible choice. And if she does have to choose based on her history, it's not going to be subtle and it ain't going to be quiet. And then we get to Bradley. But let me be honest. Is it just me, or does this storyline seem like it's only just to keep Reese Witherspoon on the show? Like, don't get me wrong. I love Reese Witherspoon as Bradley, and I appreciate the show trying to keep a journalistic core, a thread of like pure journalistic storyline. But right now, her plot feels disconnected from everything. Like, how it relates to everybody else and the stakes of it just feel removed. Because you got her and Chip, two people who used to work for the company, joining an investigation that was jump-started by somebody who sued the previous iteration of the company, and that cover-up was spearheaded or overseen by people who are no longer at the company. And so all of this seems, I don't want to say irrelevant, but just unrelated to everything else that's going on, because everything else just seems so interconnected, and you can tell how like Stella's storyline will affect Alex's storyline, and Alex's storyline will affect everybody. So you can see how everybody's storyline will overlap and have ramifications for everybody. But this kind of seems separate and like its own little through line. And it's a TV show. We're only 2 episodes in, so the mystery, the answers that come may have these big splash and wide-ranging ramifications. But right now, it seems like we manufactured this so we could keep Reese Witherspoon on the poster. But that's how I'm feeling right now. This show has built up more than enough goodwill with me where I'm going to see it through. But I'm going to watch the rest of the season, but I'm going to watch Bradley's spot with one eyebrow raised. But that was just episode 2. We're only 2 episodes in. We got like 8 more to go. Where do you think the season is going? What are the surprises? What are the ramifications? What are your predictions for next episode and the rest of the season? Let me know. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you guys next time.